in your university, right? So through this lecture, if you have any question, you can put your hands, but the time is limited. So you can send an email to me at Chaozhe wgtu.edu.cn, right? And so today our topic is transport network, so which is collecting to the world. So let's explore the mysteries and charms of transport networks. So for this course, just like the chairman said, this is the topic is for the student. All of you that the background is from a different field. So now focus on the transportation. That's why I always put the concepts and the story which collected the social and economic field. So this course objectives include the following aspects. So first, to understand the basic concepts, components, and the significance of transport networks. And the second is to grasp the characteristics, applications, and modes of operations of different types of transport networks. And finally, we will try to make you and analyze the challenges and the development opportunities faced by the transport networks. So the course under the time scope for 3 hours, we will schedule into 4 parts. The first part, so we will spend 30 minutes to introduce the transport network basics. Because your background, most of you focus on the business or logistics or supply chain, right? But the transport networks is a basic understanding, which is enough for your application in your study, future study or research. Then we will spend 1 hour to introduce or talk about the types and characteristics of transport networks. So then we will take a break for almost 20 minutes. Then we will start again the part 3, so which should be 1 hour to talk about the practical application cases of transport networks. So finally, we
Excuse,
will use
Jiang,
30 minutes. Yeah.
excuse me, Dr. Jiang. Unfortunately, we have only provide 60 minutes for the lecture and
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes for Q&A session.
Oh, only 13 minutes.
60 minutes, 1
Oh, yeah,
hour,
60 minutes.
1
Oh,
hour,
okay, 1 hour, right?
1 hour for the lecture, yes. And
Oh, okay, okay.
15,
That's okay. That's okay.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
which is flexible. I will, okay. So I got it. But the
and
contents I will give, sent to the students. So which is free and okay. So anyway, I
yes,
will go through quickly. Okay.
thank
Okay.
you.
So anyway, the contents could be covered still under the time limit is 1 hour. Then answer on questions. Okay. So finally, we will introduce the challenges, okay, and the future development. So of course, I will assign some assignments to the chair. So just like show questions, case study, essay, and practical exercises and group project. Okay. So let's begin the transport network basics. So first of all, let me think about how to define a transport network. I think everybody, you can think about some simple transport network diagrams, such as road networks, railway networks, and so on. So like the picture, the photo, so airplane and the network, even for the topologic diagram, right? This is a network in physical, right? You can think about. So, but how to understand it? So you can think about if somebody like you can answer the question, okay? So due to the time limitation, so that's why I can say I give you some brief understanding, explanation, right? Actually, for the transport network, it is a system of the routes and the links that connects various locations for the movement of people and goods. It can be visualized as a web of roads. So it is like a web, so that's why we call that network. And the railways, waterways, and air routes that crisscross across the regions and the countries. For example, here, the highway system in the country is a type of transport network that collects cities and towns, enable the efficient movement of vehicles and the transport of goods. Anyway, passengers and goods movement by the terms of the transportation, right? And the transport without transport networks, the movement of people or the goods would be highly restricted, right? You can think about it's crazy. If no transportation, so you can move anywhere, needing to limitation in trade, economic growth, and social interaction, right? So transport network are the lifelines of modern society. They facilitate the distribution of goods from producers to consumers, enable people to travel for work, leisure, and other purposes, and support the functioning of various industries. For instance, a well-developed transport network allows fresh produce to be transported from farms to markets in different cities, ensuring that people have access to a variety of food products. It also enables employees to commute to their workplaces, thereby supporting the operations of a business and the overall economy. So this is the overall understanding of the transport network. Or you can say you can sort of the definition of it. So anyway, so any questions? All right. So I assume you have not any questions. I'm clear to see the definition of the transportation network. Okay, let's get the next. So for the transport network, what components to make up the network? So first component is the nodes. We call that transport nodes, like stations, right? Ports, right? Airports, even for the logistics centers, and so on. There are so many points, we can call that nodes, which concern with the transport networks. Okay, we can synchronize the nodes into the diagram, like the right picture. So this, we can use the modeling to model the transport networks. Then we can use the linear matrix to formula the network components. Okay, this is actually we call that the transport nodes. Actually, the nodes are very key locations where passengers and goods are transferred or exchanged between different transport routes. For example, railway station serve as nodes where passengers can switch between different train lines or transfer from trains to other modes of transport, such as buses or taxis. Similarly, ports act as nodes for the transfer of goods between ships and land-based transport like trucks and trains. Airports are nodes for air transport, where passengers and cargoes are loaded and unloaded from aircraft and collected to other flights or ground transport services, right? The logistics centers are hubs for the storage, consolidation, distribution of goods. They play a crucial role in managing the flow of goods in supply chains, allow for efficient handling and transfer of large volume of cargo between different transport modes and routes. So transport roads is very, very important for the network. So the next component is the routes, which include the roads, railways, waterways, air routes, even for the pipelines, right? So they are the paths or lines along which transport vehicles move. They can be roads, railway, waterways, or air routes. Like highways are transport routes for road vehicles such as cars, trucks, and buses. They provide a dedicated paths for the movement of these vehicles between different locations. And the railway tracks are the routes for trains collecting various stations and enable the transportation of passengers and goods over long distance. Waterways such as rivers and canals serve as routes for ships and barges, facilitating the transport of bulk goods and car containers. And the air routes are the designated passes in the sky that the craft follow when flying between airports. These routes are carefully planned and managed to ensure the safe and the efficient movement of air traffic, right? So in that way, you can see the transport rails like a line between different routes, right? Okay, so far we know the loads and the routes. The next is the next important component is the transport of vehicles and equipments. So you can see the pictures, so which it describe the different transport vehicles icon, right? So you can see some automobiles, trains, ships, aircrafts, and so on. So here you can see these uh, uh, facilities are the means by which people and goods are moved within the transport network. For example, mobiles such as cars and buses are used for road transport. They are designed to carry passengers and operate on roads, providing flexibility and convenience for short to medium distance travel. And trucks are another type of road vehicle specially designed for the transportation of goods. They come in various sizes and capacities to accommodate different types of cargo, right? The train is consisting of a locomotive and a series of collective carriages or freight cars are used for railway transport. So for the trains, especially for the high-speed railway, so in China, there are so many successful experience. So here you are welcome. I welcome everybody to China to experience the high-speed railway, which is so comfortable and very high efficient. Okay, and you know, so all of the vehicles or equipment, they can arrange from a small fishing boats to large cargo vessels, and cruise ships serve as a different purpose, such as transporting goods across ocean, land, or provide passengers travel along coastline and the rivers and the land, right? For the aircraft, including the airplanes and the helicopters, are used for the air transport. They enable fast and long distance travel for passengers and the rapid delivery of time sensitive goods collecting different parts of the world in a relatively short period of time, right? So anyway, so the three components combine the whole transport system or the network. Okay, so this is the basic understanding, okay, which include the definition and the components, which can combine the whole system or the web system or the network. Okay, the next we will discuss the types of transport networks. We will separate in two parts. The first part, you can say the road transport network. We will see, so for the road networks, what characteristics or features of it? So you can imagine your daily life experience. So for the road networks, because it is controlled by the driver, right? So that's why it is high flexibility, wide coverage. It can be fulfill door-to-door transportation, right? So we can see the road network, they have a high, they have a flexible feature. So that's why it can application scenarios is include the short distance transport, urban distribution, and so on. So finally, you can see the advantages of disadvantages of road work. So anyway, for the road transport network, so just like I said just now, it offers a high flexibility, right? As because the vehicles can travel door to door without the need for transshipment, because it is controlled by the human person, right? They have wide coverage, reach almost every corner of a region or country. For example, a dense network of rural roads can connect the remote villages to main highways, enable farmers to transport their produce to local markets, and allowing residents to access essential services and goods. However, the road transport is generally suitable for short to medium distance route, right? Due to the limitation of vehicle range and the time it takes to cover longer distance. That's why they have some advantages and disadvantages. Flexible, that's disadvantages. That's disadvantages means, you know, it can it also have some shortbacks. Road transport can be relative slow over long distance. This is a disadvantageous. It is more susceptible to traffic. See, especially for the traffic jam or congestion in urban area. Another disadvantageous is the environment impact of the road vehicles, such as air and noise pollution. It is also a significant concern. Furthermore, the cost effectiveness of road transport decreases as the transport distance increases due to the higher fuel consumption and operations costs. So you meet the road network is very frequently, but they have some hidden disadvantages. So let me see the next network, railway transport network. So you can think about this one. As railway network, it can handle large volumes of passengers and goods, making them highly efficient for mass transportation. For example, a single train can carry hundreds of tons of coal or other bulk of goods, which would require dozens of trucks to transport by roads. This not only reduces the number of vehicles on the road, but also lower transportation costs and the environmental impact. Rail transport is generally faster than road transport over long distance, as trains can maintain higher average speeds and are less affected by traffic congestion, right? It also offers relatively stable and reliable schedules, which is important for the timely delivery of goods and smooth operation of passenger service. But for the railway, major railway routes and hubs, in many countries, there are several, only just several routes that collect key economic centers and cities. For example, especially for example in China, the Beijing and Shanghai Railway is a vital artery that connects two of the country's most important cities, only Beijing and Shanghai. So facilitating the movement of a large number of passengers and goods between them. For the railway hubs, such as major railway stations in cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Hong Kong, serve as important centers for the transfer and the distribution of passengers and cargo, right? The hubs are often equipped with the advanced facilities and are connected to other transport modes, enabling seamless integration of railway transport with the road, air, and water transport. So the role of high-speed railway network in regional economic development have significant boosted a regional economic development. Especially, here we take China high-speed railway system as an example. It rarely has reduced travel times between cities. Every time I always take high-speed railway, it's make it more convenient. Make my travel convenient for business people to conduct meetings and for tourists to visit different destinations. So this has promoted the flow of labor, capital, and technologies between regions, fostering regional economic integration and cooperation. High-speed railway networks have also stimulated the development of related industries, such as tourism, real estate, and manufacturing. Along the railway corridors, creating new economic growth points and opportunities. So I strongly recommend you again to be China to enjoy and experience the high-speed railway. So for the travel or do some research investigation, right? This is a railway transport network. So the next part, we can talk about the water transport network. So for the water transport can be divided into maritime transport and the inland waterway transport. Maritime transport involves the movement of goods and the passengers across oceans and seas using ships, right? For example, large container ships carry millions of tons of cargoes containers between major ports, major ports around the world each year, facilitating global trade. So I think in Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, So they are more focused on the water, the ocean transport. So for the inland waterway transport, especially in China, so or in American, so on the other hand, it takes place on rivers, canals, and lakes. It is an important mode of transport in regions with extensive inland waterways, such as the Yangtze River economic belt in China. So in China, there are three, especially for the big inland river, so which is so-called Yangtze River, very, very famous from Chongqing to Shanghai, right? Another way is the Huanghe River. That's the China cultural original river, right? So and the barks and ships navigate these waterways to transport bulk goods like coal, ore, and agriculture products, as well as containers and other cargo in China. For the ports of the inland, they are crucial nodes in water transport networks that serve as the interface between water and inland transport, where goods are loaded and unloaded from ships and transferred to other transport modes. Major ports are equipped with various facilities, such as docks, warehouse, and terminals to handle different types of cargo. For example, a large seaport like Shanghai Port has deep water docks capable of accommodating super large container ship. It also have extensive warehouse facility for the storage of goods before and after shipping. Ports also provide services such as customers clearance, logistics, and financial support, making them important centers for international trade and economic activities, right? For some of the world's major ports include Rotterdam in the Netherlands, Singapore, and Los Angeles in the United States. These ports are strategically located and well connected to global ship routes. Shipping routes are the established paths that ships follow to transport goods between ports. For example, to maritime Silk roads is a significant shipping routes that connect Asia, like China, right? Europe and Africa, which facilitates trade and economic cooperation between countries along the routes. The Suez Canal and the Panama Canal are also important waterway that shorten shipping distances and save time and costs for maritime transport, right? I think for the water transport, you have the experience and things. Okay, the next is the air transport network. For the air transport is the fastest mode of transport, making it highly efficient for long distance and time-sensitive journeys, right? For example, a business traveler can fly from New York to London in just over 7 hours, whereas the same journey by ship would take several days. This speed allows air transport to collect distant regions and countries quickly, enable global business operations and international tourism. Passengers can reach their destination in a relatively short time. Perishable goods or high-value products can be delivered properly, reduce inventory costs and spoilage. So airports are strategically located to serve specific regions and are connected by complex network of air routes. Major international airports such as London, Heathrow, or Dubai International Airport act as hubs for numerous air routes connecting different cities and countries. These airports are equipped with multiple runways, terminals, and advanced navigation and communication systems to handle a large volume of air traffic, right? Air routes network are planned and managed by aviation authorities and airlines, taking into account factors such as air traffic control, safety, especially for the safety and the efficiency. They are consistently adjusted to optimize to meet changing travel demands and aviation regulations. The role of air transport in international trade and global logistics can, for the air transport plays a vital role in international trade, but facilitating the rapid movement of high value, time sensitive, and perishable goods, especially for the fresh flowers from Kenya can be transported to Europe markets, right? Within hours, a couple of hours of being harvested, ensuring their freshness and quality. Amazing, right? In global logistics, air transport is used for the delivering of urgent medical supplies, spare parts for industry equipment, and commerce e-commerce packages that require faster deliveries. It complements other transport modes by providing a fast and reliable option for the critical segments of supply chain, thereby enhancing the overall efficiency and competitiveness of global trade and commercials. So for the air transport, rail transport, the road transport, the water transport, they have different background and different advantages and disadvantages. Their hybrid can overcome their different shortcoming, right? So in that way, you can improve the high efficiency and environment friendly transportation. So that's why the transportation planning is very important. And we can do some research, especially for some complicated network and complex business environment. Okay, so chair for the chairman. So would you like to have a break for 10 minutes or 5 minutes?
It's okay if you would like to continue.
Okay, so I like to do that one. So, but for the listeners, for the audience, so they want do they want to take a rest or would like to continue?
Okay, audience, would you like to continue? Students, would you like to continue or take a break? Continue, yes, continue. Someone
Continue.
says
Okay.
continue.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay.
Good.
They
Okay,
are very
thank you.
excited to listen more.
Okay, all right. Okay. So, okay. So right now, so we have almost finished the basic understanding of the transport network, right? And we know the different types transport network features and characteristics, especially for their advantages and then disadvantages. I think everybody know, so always imagine how to apply their advantages into the different business or industry and how to avoid their disadvantages and improve the business or logistic operations efficiency, right? So the next topic is about the practical applications cases of the level. So first topic is the global supply chain transport network. So here, let's take Apple Incorporation as an example. Apple is a very famous company. Its global supply chain involves involves numerous suppliers, manufacturing plants, and distribution centers across different countries. Raw materials such as semiconductors, glass, and metal components are sourced from suppliers in countries like South Korea, Japan, and Germany. So all of the materials are then transported to manufacturers' plants in China, where the final assembly of iPhones and other products takes place. After manufacture, the products are distributed to various distribution centers around the world, such as those in the United States, in Europe, and Asia, right? And finally delivered to retailers and customers. The transport network for this supply chain includes a combination of air, sea, and road transport. Among them, air transport is used for time-critical components and finished products to ensure timely delivery. And sea transport is employed for bulk shipments of raw materials and finished goods due to its cost effectiveness, right? And the road transport handles the local distribution within countries, collecting ports and airports to factories and warehouses. So in this supply chain transport network, you can say key loads include the suppliers of factories, right? Factories and manufacturing plants, distribution centers, and port and airports. Here, the route selection strategies focus on what? Of course, it focuses on optimizing the balance between cost, speed, and reliability, right? This is a good manager's thinking. And the factors such as transportation time, cost, and the availability of transport capacity are concerned, right? For example, for components that are critical to the production schedule and have tight deadlines, air transport routes are prioritized despite their high costs. So different scenarios, a different concept, right? For bulk materials that are less time sensitive, sea transport routes are chosen to minimize costs, but not the time, right? Additionally, the selection of transport routes also take into account geopolitical factors, trade agreements, and customers recognition to ensure smooth cross-border transportation and avoid potential disruptions, especially for the currently global chaos politics situation, right? So how to make the global supply chain smoothly? We have to consider the different transport network planning. Okay. So this is I put in the first position of the case application of the transport network application case, because it is direct to the financial issues. Okay. The second is urban public transport network. So for example, so London's public transport network is a classic examples. It comprises an extensive underground subway system, the tube, right? And the buses and overground trains and the trams. The subway system has multiple lines covering the entire city, with trains running frequently at interval of just a few minutes during peak hours. And the buses operate on numerous routes, collecting different neighborhoods and complementing the subway network. And the overground trains provide services in outer London and connect to neighboring regions. And the trams serves specific areas such as Croydon. This integrated public transport network allows residents to travel conveniently across the city for work, study, shopping, and other activities. For example, a commuter can take a bus to the nearest subway station, transfer to the tube to reach the city center, and then switch to another bus to get to their office. The network's coverage and frequency reduce the reliance on private cars, elevating traffic congestion and environment pollution in the city. So the planning of the London's public transport network follows several key principles. First, it aims to provide comprehensive coverage of the city's major residential, commercial, and industrial areas to meet the travel needs of the majority of residents. The second, it emphasizes the integration and the collectivity of different transport modes to enable seamless transfers, right? For example, subway stations are often located near bus stops and train stations. Third, the network is designed to ensure high frequency and reliable services to attract passengers and improve the efficiency of public transport. In terms of operations and management, Transport for London, we call that the TfL, is responsible for overseeing the entire public transport system, right? It coordinates the schedules and the operations of different transport mode, manages a ticketing system, and ensures the maintenance and the safety of transport infrastructure and the vehicles. Real-time information systems are also in place to provide passengers with updates on vehicle locations and arrival times, enhance the user experience and the operational efficiency of the public transport network. So right now, the popular app like Uber, right? Like Didi in China, Uber in the United States. I don't know in Indonesia, so what app can smooth the urban public transport network? Or you can think about that one. I think you know that one. So next time, so if I visit Indonesia in person, I will conclude your local public transport network advanced tours. Okay, the next is logistics and distribution network application. Here, we take famous company Alibaba's China company Alibaba's logistics networks as an example. So when a customer places an order on Alibaba's e-commerce platform, the product is retrieved from the seller's warehouse or directly from the manufacturer's warehouse, right? The package is then transport to a logistics center for sorting and consolidating. From there, it is dispatched to a local delivery station near the customer's location. Finally, the carrier delivers the package to the customer's doorstep. So all of the process involves multiple transport modes and loads, right? Road transport is primarily used for the local pickup or distributions and final mile delivery. Air or rail transport may be employed for long-distance transportation between different regions, Alibaba's logistic network relies on advanced information technology systems to track and manage the movement of packages in real time, ensuring efficient and accurate delivery. The network work with optimize routines and scheduling. They minimize transportation time and costs while maximizing delivery efficiency. So another is the example is DHL. A leading third-party logistic company continuously optimize its transport network to improve service quality and reduce cost. DHL analyze customers' demand patterns, shipment values, and geographic distribution to determine the optimal locations for its warehouses and distribution centers. It also designs efficient transportation routes using algorithm and logistic optimization software, taking into account factors such as traffic conditions, transportation distance, and the delivery time windows. So here it involves the modeling, mathematical modeling, and design some algorithm to solve the model. Then use the coding it into software, right? So here, DHL can provide faster and more reliable delivery service to its customers while reducing fuel consumption and operational costs. This enables DHL to maintain a competitive edge in the logistic market and meet the evolving needs of its clients in an increasingly complex global business environment. And for some special environment like cold chain, right? Logistic transport involves the transportation of perishable goods such as fresh food, pharmaceutical, and biological products that requires temperature controlled environment. For example, in transportation of vaccine, it is crucial to maintain a consistent cold chain, right? To ensure the potency and the safety of the vaccine. Cold chain logistics transport network have special requirements for transport vehicles and equipment. They must be equipped with the reliable refrigeration system and the temperature monitor devices. Additionally, the transport routes must be carefully planned to minimize exposure to temperature fluctuations and delays. Advanced technology such as IoT, which is the Internet of Things, right? Sensors are used to monitor temperature and the location of goods in real time during transport. If any abnormal temperature changes are detected, immediate actions can be taken to adjust the refrigeration settings or address potential issues. Make sure the quality and the safety of the cold chain goods throughout the transportation process, right? And right now we can take another, just Rotterdam port in Netherlands as an example. It is one of the busiest ports in the world and serves as a major hub for Europe trade, right? The port-centric transport network around Rotterdam includes a well-developed system of railway, highway, waterway. Goods arriving at the port by ship are rapidly transferred to trains, trucks, and barges for owned transportation to various parts of Europe. The railway network collects the ports to major cities and industrial areas in countries such as Germany, France, Belgium. Highway networks provide the flexible and collect and direct access for road transportation to distribute goods to local and regional destination, right? Inland waterways enable the transportation of bulk goods and to inland ports and the industry sites along rivers. The integrated ports centric transport network ensure efficient cargo handling, and quick distribution, reducing the time goods spent in the world, and enhance the overall efficiency of supply chain. It also helps to elevate traffic congestion around the port area by providing multiple transport options and optimizing the flow of goods through different modes. And there are so many other cases like FedEx use. That's a good application in air transport network. Okay, so due to the time limitation, so we cannot speak it detail too much. So anyway, so right now, so the transport networks meet some challenges. One challenge is, so first, the aging transport infrastructure and renewal needs. In many countries, especially those with the long-standing transport networks, the infrastructure is showing signs of aging. For example, the some railway lines built over a century ago, 100 years ago, in Europe, and experience issues such as track wear and outdated signaling system. Similarly, in older cities, roads, and bridges may have deteriorated due to years of use and exposure to weather conditions, needing to potholes, cracks, and structural weakness, right? The renewal of this aging infrastructure is essential to make sure the safety and the efficiency of the transport network. However, it requires substantial financial investment and carefully planning to minimize a disruption to transport the services during the renewal process. So that's why, so my PhD students, even for my postdoc researcher, some in my team, most time focus on the planning. So to save the money and improve the aging infrastructure for some governments of different countries. And so constructing the new transport routes faces numerous challenges. Of course, the financial constraints are the significant barriers, as building new roads, railways, or airports requires huge amounts of capital. For instance, the construction of a high-speed railway now involves not only the cost of tracks and stations, but also land acquisition, environment assessment, and engineering works. Technologies challenge also exist, especially in difficult terrain such as mountains, rivers, and environmentally sensitive areas. Building tunnels and bridges in mountainous regions requires advanced engineering techniques and equipment. Of course, in China, all of these are solved by some advanced technologies, so which is research by the professors and the PhD students at our university, Southwest Jiaotong University. Later, if you have time, you are welcome to communicate together face to face in China. So new transport routes can lead to habitat destruction, increased noise and air pollution, and disruption to the local ecosystems. So that's why it is necessary to conduct thorough environment assessments and implementation mitigation measures to minimize these negative impacts before proceeding with the construction. There is often an imbalance in development of a transport infrastructure between urban and the rural area, as well as between developed and developing regions in any country. Urban areas usually have more developed and well-maintained transport networks due to higher population densities and economic activities. In contrast, rural and remote areas may have adequate transport infrastructure, limiting access to markets, services, and opportunities. This disparity can exacerbate the regional development gaps and the social inequities. For example, in some developing countries, rural regions may lack proper roads, making it difficult for farmers to transport their produce to markets and for children to access schools. The developing region may also struggle with the insufficient funding and the technology to build and upgrade the transport infrastructure, further widening the gap with the development. Anyway, in words, the financial problem is a big challenge. Another challenge is traffic congestion and transport efficiency. So urban traffic congestion is primarily caused by the rapid growth of private vehicle ownership and limited capacity of urban road networks. As more people own cars, the number of vehicles on the road during peak hours exceeds the road capacity, needing the traffic jams. Other factors such as irrational road network layouts, lack of traffic management, and the concentration of economic activities in certain areas can also contribute to congestions. Traffic congestion also has several negative impacts. It increase several times and transportation costs, reducing the efficiency of people's daily commutes and the goods distribution. For example, a journey that normally takes 30 minutes during long peak hours may take over an hour during rush hour, causing stress and inconvenience to commuters and increasing vehicle operations costs due to fuel consumption and wear and tear, right? It also needs the environment pollution. So anyway, so there are so many challenges for the because of the traffic jam and transportation. Another challenge is environment sustainable. So anyway, there are so many impacts of transport activity on the environment, like greenhouse emission and noise pollution. Okay, and the concepts and the practice of a sustainable transport network, like promotion of a green transport modes, improvement of energy efficiency, right? So anyway, so later we can continue, okay? So the next topic is the
Sorry,
title.
Jia. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Jia.
yeah.
Your time is 5 minutes left.
Okay, 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, 5 minutes left. Thank you.
Okay, okay. I will manage it. Okay. So, okay, so the trend is like for the first, that's a technological innovation. The prospects of intelligent ITS, this is one. And another is application trend is new energy transportation vehicles, especially from electronic hydrogen anyway. So that's why I like use the Tesla in my family, of course, as well as for the research purpose. And another is the smart and digital transport network. So, this is concerned with the supply chain 5.0 version, right? So this is another trend. So remember that one? And another trend is global and regional transport network cooperation. So you have a cooperation. That's why right now the international supply chain always break, right? So anyway, so finally, this is a trend, whatever. So the last session is the summary and the question. So actually, we have a talk about or explored the fascinating world of transportation network from there, from the basic to the very types and characteristics. I've seen some different amazing features, right? And as well as some people can think about how to manage, how to do research, how to study. So for the transportation, you can say transportation is the basic foundation which can support the logistics. If the logistics operate very well, you can support the supply chain, right? If a supply chain operation is high efficiency, right? You can separate and conduct a good financial conditions for any company, right? So this is the summary. So I think this is the first time. Next lecture, I can detail some mathematical model and teach you how to design the algorithms to smooth out, right? Okay, of course, you have to enable some mathematical and computer knowledges. That's okay. So my lecture
Yes.
is finished. Thank you,
Okay.
Chairman.
Thank you very much. Okay, applause everyone. It is a very interesting topic, Jiang. Okay,
Thank you.
so we have a student. Her name is Dina, and she
Mm.
would like to ask question. Dina, uh can you unmute your mic and put the camera on, Dina? Okay, if Dina is not here yet, okay, let's take a look
Din,
at the uh okay, please raise your hand
yes.
first, Dina. Dina, raise your hand, and then our operator will unmute you.
Yeah, hello?
Hello, Dinner, right?
Yes. Hello, sir.
Yeah, Les. Okay, thank you for your question. Okay, you're welcome to discuss with me.
Okay. Thank you so much for the time, Professor. Good
Yeah.
morning. I'm Dina
Mm-hmm.
Tritami Faisal from the Transportation Management Study Program.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Honestly, lately I've been working on my undergraduate thesis under
Oh.
the title The Influence of Freight Carriers and Stakeholder Moderation on the Failure
Mm-hmm.
of Implementing the Overloading Control Program in Indonesia. For your
Mm-hmm.
information, in Indonesia, road transport plays a dominant role in connecting urban and rural areas, serving as the
Mm-hmm.
backbone of both goods distribution and community mobility. However,
Okay.
overloading and overdimension remain persistent issues, leading to safety
Mm-hmm.
concerns and infrastructure damage.
Mm-hmm.
For information, in Indonesia, there's a program called Zero Overdimension Overload, where the government starts to realize how dangerous the overloading situation is and plan
Mm-hmm.
to reduce the number of violation. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, the program does not go well. So I'd
Mm-hmm.
like to ask you, given that this course discusses transportation networks and their performances, I'm very
Mm-hmm.
interested to learn from China's experience.
Mm-hmm.
Could you kindly share what are the key policies in China
Mm-hmm.
regarding overloading and overdimension issues in road transportation, and how
Mm-hmm.
are these regulations enforced, and what impact have they had on logistic efficiency and infrastructure integrity? That's all
Mm-hmm.
from me, sir. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Good. This is a good topic for your thesis of your undergraduate. So even I think it is good for the master or PhD student to do the research. This is a good topic. Okay. And I'm not sure for the local place in Indonesia, the situation. I guess from your description, in Indonesia, maybe the government investment is not enough, I think. So this is one policy, but this is an estimation. I'm not sure, right? for China, so for the government always invest a big investment for the infrastructure. And this is for the national network, right? But for the local governments, they will invite some private company or even for the people to join to combine the investment to support the local transport network infrastructure, right? So, and another is technologies can improve that one. So, for example, you proposed there is also a system in your Indonesia, but it is not working very well, right? But in China, so the APP for any individual people and the company and the government. So I think the good solution is you can collect the in China, so it takes always 10 to 20 years. So right now, it is very smooth. Everybody can use the APP or other online system. Even just like, in China, there is a famous system that's called 1, 2, 3, 6 system. 1, 2, 3, 0, 6. You can remember that one. That's a very convenient and work very well for the passengers to book the ticket and can help the dispatch center to dynamic adjust the schedule, right? So anyway, for you, I give you a suggestion. You can collect the data, the real data, and do some analysis. So to see what problem possible is the big impact for the whole system working, right? Then we can find we can modeling, find transport modeling. In transport modeling, we can borrow some classical modeling, then use the data, the real data, to do the calibrate the parameters for the modeling, right? Variables. Finally, if the model is simple, you can coding, use Python to develop a small software to test your model is working or not. If it is working, I think this is a good suggestion for your ethics and for the government system suggestions. If because the limitation, time limitation, you can send an email to me. We can bridge a relationship. I can give you some more details according to your data, your situation, right?
Okay, Professor. Allow me to add some more. From my research, the main focus of my
Our
research.
time is very limited. I'm sorry, Dina. Our time is very limited. Maybe later you can email
Okay.
Jiang.
Okay.
Email to
have
me,
a
okay.
Can I give
Okay.
can
Thank
I
you,
give a
Dina.
last
Thank you.
closing statement, ma'am?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Of
Thank
course.
you so much.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
you're welcome
Okay.
to channel. Okay, we can
Okay.
discuss more, right?
Thank you so much.
Put it together.
I would
I'm
like.
sorry. If you have other questions, yeah, you will have more opportunities with Jiang via email. Thank you very much. And
Okay.
good luck with your thesis, Dina. It's a very interesting topic.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
Jiang,
you.
we have
Yeah.
some question here on chat room. Yeah. And I'd like to read the question to you
Yeah. Which one?
from Imade Arya Bayu. He's a master's degree students at ULBI. He
Okay,
would like
master,
to
right?
ask about the Kra Canal. Kra Canal, he said, would constitute a mega projects in logistic channel, a passageway that would connect the Andaman Sea and the Gulf of Thailand at the Isthmus of Kra, Thailand. What is your opinion about the costs for logistic trade, the cost for the environment, national and regional security concerns, as well
Okay.
as major concerns related to political and economic relation in the Southeast Asia?
Perfect.
Okay. This
Oh,
is
that's
from Arya.
okay. Okay. So that's a real good questions. Actually, I'm the research consultant of UN SCOP, so under the United Nations. I always work in the Thailand, Bangkok. So for the research about these issues, almost similar. Okay. So actually, for me, I think in the global, right? So for the logistic planning, right now is changed from the historic relatively static to the dynamic and always changing, always changing, always changing. So if you have two options or three options, so it's easier for you to change. In that way, you can save money. You know, whatever they changing rapidly or slowly, but the times, the information delivery still exists in some delay, right? So we can use some technologies to learn the advanced, the current, the up-to-date policy from different countries, especially for Asian countries. You don't have to depend on the only way, ocean ways, right? You can depend on the ocean way just like through China. So you know China, except the ocean way, we have the high-speed railway, especially for the train transportation. There is a big program between it is originated by China, which spread in the world, even through the Asia to the Europe, right? That's the so-called BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. So sometimes, according to my experience, I always do some consult with some company in Thailand and Philippines, some countries, some university, right? Of course, do some researches. But one of a company for logistic company get it consulting. I suggested they use China railway to Europe and other Asian countries. In China, we call that 周欧班列. We call that China Europe Express, special railway express, right? You can think about this one. So I have a PhD student. She was leading some master as a group to do this research. So I think we can find a way. In words, you have to consider not only for the international trade, always based on the ocean, the waterway, right? So right now, I suggest you consider embed the high-speed railway, right? This is roughly suggested. But for your detailed case, we have the same way. So you can send an email to me. We can discuss, or sometimes you can if I visit Indonesia or you can come to China, we can discuss face to face. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jiang. So that is the answer, Mr. Arya. Yeah. Next question from the chat room, Jiang. We have the question from the Vice Rector, Professor Agus. He
Oh, professor.
asks, yes.
Okay.
He asks, how can transport network modeling be adapted to support the optimization of cold chain logistics, particularly in rural and remote areas? And what role do emerging technologies such as
Okay.
IoT-based temperature monitoring and
Okay.
blockchain play in ensuring end-to-end visibility and reliability amidst rising global food safety standards and climate uncertainties? Okay,
Okay.
is Mr. Agus here? So this is your question.
Okay. So that's a very interesting question. Okay. Another professor, so nice to meet you. Thank you for your questions. I think this is I think that's an eternal research topic, right? So there's not
Uh-huh.
any the best, but always better and better, right? So this is
Mm-hmm.
the meaningful and the valuable for the optimization. Yeah, you're right. So I think how to modeling the transportation or the logistic for the code logistic, right? So for the traditional planning, I think that's the basic, but not enough. Because for the basic planning, the modeling, so they never consider the detailed situation, especially for some remote and the rural or developing area, right? So I think how to collect them. I think in China, so actually my students, I'm the partner. So I always support her to set up a code logistic company in Chengdu, China. So right now, so almost before the COVID-19, they set up the company. Right now, it is running very well. So how do you get that one? So we import the high technologies. We use the IoT sensors, which collect the GPS, right? Use the GPS and use the telecommunication. So to the center and the vehicle drivers. So that's why I always dynamic monitor them, which include the temperature, include the location, include the speed, and we can predict the how long we can arrive at the destination. And as well as designed some emergency measures on the vehicles, as well as we have the cooperation with the local different local emergency institute, so they can support them if have some surprised issues for the code goods, right? So I think the first is you have to import some advanced sensors, especially which can collect the GPS. You don't have to consider the others. This is the first. Another, for the modeling, we have to do some theoretical analysis. We input the sensors different parameters, so which involve the goods, right? Like temperature, like moisture. Anyway, just that one. Okay. In that way, the modeling, so we account different variables, right? So at that moment, I think the optimization could be changed. So maybe the time difference, maybe the routes could be changed, maybe the distribution could be changed, right? So upon my experience, like my students, they run the company. I'm her partner and consultant, but I think this is La Fellow. There are still some issues, especially for the code goods. Always the features is not perfect information to me to the center. So that's why I have. I think we have more job need to do that one. So later, so you are a professor, so you are welcome to join me to resolve the same problem. I think it can save money and get much more benefits. In that way, we can share the benefits for our common researchers. Okay.
Yes, that's right. Okay, Jiang, I
Yeah.
think we are running out of time. However, there are so many questions on the chat
Mhm.
box that cannot be answered today. And also there is a person who is raising his hand right now, but unfortunately the
Mhm.
time is almost over. So I think it is better for them to contact you in person via email, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And I know you would be very glad to reply to the emails, right? Okay, so before we end our session for today, let's have a photo session together.
Okay.
And I would like to ask
So
the
Chairman,
participants.
okay, so can I say last words for this presentation, right? Okay, last words for
Okay,
me.
sure.
Okay. So
Yeah.
first, thank you so much. I'm so glad to stay together with you. Okay, and my slides I can send you or send to Newman, right? So to share with all of you. Okay, this first. The second, so in my team, so there are so many postdoc, visiting scholar, and a PhD, and a master and undergraduate student. We have a big group, subgroup for the supply chain management and the transportation, right? So later, so everybody, you are welcome to collect me through the email, okay? And tell me, so what want to
Yes.
know for the next lectures, okay? So that's okay.
Okay, definitely. Okay, thank you very much, Jiang. We really enjoy your lecture today. Okay, let's move on to our next session, photo session. Please open your camera as we are going to start now. And maybe the operator can, yes. Okay, let's start first. Yeah, that's better view, Jiang, really.
Good.
We had a backlight earlier. Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So
yeah. Okay, that's better. Okay, let's start with the first screen. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Smile, everyone. Okay, maybe next page.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
I'm always here. Okay.
Thank you. I'd like to.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome
Now
to
I'd like
China. Okay.
Today's. Okay, so we would love to go to
Thank
China,
you.
Jiang, and to see the very complex transportation.
Definitely.
So I'd like to close today's lecture. We extend our deepest gratitude to Dr. Chaozhe Jiang for sharing his knowledge and time with us today. It has been a great honor. To all students, attendees, please don't forget to fill in the attendance form to get the certificate.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, so let us continue to support global education and cross-cultural. And goodbye. Thank you.
See you next time.
Thank you, Mr.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Bye. Yeah.